We're live.
Hi, everyone. Dog says hi.
Tell your friends you're listening to the Verhoeven Effect podcast. I'm Conlon. We have
And I'm
another very
Nathan.
special episode. We have the 2004 movie Shaun of the Dead. Nathan, do you have a history with Shaun of the Dead?
I watched this on HBO when it was
Okay.
available to watch, when it probably a year after it
All right.
actually came out in theaters. I knew nothing about it. It looked funny, and it
I'm pretty
was.
sure I saw it in theaters. Although, like, I remember this being like a huge movie, but if you look at the box office, I think it says it made like what, like $4 million or something. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
like
40?
40.
Okay, it still seemed like low for like
Yeah.
the amount of attention it got. So I'm guessing either it just got attention or it made a bunch of money in like the rental and like streaming and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think it probably. I think people who knew about it saw it in theaters, but I think it was big in that space as a rental slash. It seems like
yeah,
everyone's watched it. Like when I look up material written about it, it's like, oh yeah, there's the page after page after page of stuff written
and of
about it.
course this like
Yeah.
this is the movie that propelled Simon Pegg and Nick Frost into like starring roles and being in American movies and stuff like that. So it must have had some sort of effect. So
Oh
there's
yeah.
also like
Yeah.
every British actor is in this movie almost. So but it's basically like a a Doctor Who cast clambered together into a zombie movie in Britain. So um, but
Yeah. It also managed to be a horror movie slash comedy where you actually care about the
yeah,
main
yeah,
characters. It wasn't so goofy. It's like, well, yeah, they all ended badly, but it's like, no, you actually cared, especially the two
yeah.
main guys. It's like, oh, free, their friendship was really the main part of the story.
And I remember them being like, they're just so good friends, but the one guy's a layabout and that's his problem. But like actually like the Ed character is like really an unredeeming asshole for most of the movie.
Yeah.
um but like when his girlfriend dumps him and like he has his back, not in a great way where it's like let's get drunk, but it's better than him being alone, I guess.
Yeah.
um,
For him being constant, like, oh, I told you she was poison. It's like, no, let's just get drunk. I know we're gonna drink flaming drinks in a bar, which like led to all the problems initially. But like, this is what we do.
um, And then I'm not sure. Did you ever see Spaced? That was the TV show that they did before they did this movie.
No, I
Okay.
didn't see that. Seen
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz, which came after this, but no, I did not see any of the prequel stuff or the stuff they
Yeah.
did
It
before
was like
this.
I think it's BBC Four, which is like their kind of like alternative, younger based BBC channel. And so yeah, it's just
Okay.
kind of like a sarcastic college comedy called Spaced, and it's very well done. But like I think I remember I got it on DVD at some point and listened to audio commentary and Edgar Wright and everybody talking about basically like they did almost everything in their free time. Like they got paid to do this, but what made it special was them spending way more time than they were allotted to work on. Because they're basically like you have like union rules and all that stuff, but then like but editing was just becoming digital at that time, so he could take stuff home and spend 8 hours at night editing it perfectly. So um, yeah, it's also just like not a good way, but a way to get a lot of experience very quickly is to just overwork yourself and put yourself into it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a way to learn your task.
change it. Yeah, because it's also this is known this Hot Fuzz and The World's End. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Is known as the Coronetto trilogy, which that's like here it's like a drumstick. I'm not sure if it's the same thing or just a different thing. It's like that little cone treat that has like the ice cream on top of it. That you, that you get like out of a box
Okay.
here. Um, But yeah, here we just call them like it's just a drumstick as the brand, but there it's Cornetto. So, or maybe they have drumstick there, but like everybody buys Cornetto. So I'm not sure.
They
Yeah,
stick
yeah.
to the house brand.
Isn't it like I think it's like Cadbury? Isn't that British or something?
I believe it sounds British. God, it should be.
Because like you think like the only thing I know Cadbury for is the Cadbury egg, but I think they own all the like the Willy Wonka branded stuff. I think is also what they own. Oh yeah, look it up, name. There's always something weird with chocolate dynasties, so they're always based in like slavery somewhere around the world and the horrible human rights violations and hoarding water.
Cadbury, formerly Cadbury's, and Cadbury Schweppes is a British multinational confectionery company owned by Mondelez International, spun off from
Okay,
Kraft
all right.
Foods. Cadbury is internationally headquartered in Greater London and operates in more than 50 countries worldwide. So yes, it's essentially it's a British candy company that's now part of a multinational conglomerate. So yeah,
Okay,
it's a British candy company.
that's what I thought. Oh well, I guess quick history lesson or Wikipedia entry. What's Cornetto? Who owns them?
All right, let me see.
This is important for a thing that's a trilogy that I've never bothered to look up for the importance of. Because it doesn't make sense. Like they do, like there's one here, and I bet they just eat one in every movie, which seems like the loosest connection for your trilogy of movies. But whatever. So
I'm having AI compare it and contrast it to an American stick brand. Let's see what happens. Here, I'm gonna like burn down a village of power. Cornetto and drumsticks are both brands of ice cream cone, but they differ in origin, ownership, and construction. Cornetto is an Italian brand owned by Unilever, while drumstick is an American origin brand owned by Nestle. The difference is that drumstick features a chocolate lining at the bottom of the cone, whereas Cornetto has ice cream in the top of the cone and a chocolate tip. Okay.
all right.
Yep. So that's what they are.
Okay.
Essentially, they're the same thing. It is funny though. That seems like something they would call it.
Yeah, it came out September 24th, 2004, which so that's what 21 years ago. So it can drink now.
Yeah. And it did a lot.
Director is Edgar Wright, who's I don't know, I guess he's still doing stuff. I never saw like that. Was it like Last Waltz in Soho or something like that, which looked kind of interesting. It seemed like he made Baby Driver and then like everybody forgot about him because there's like because what's his name basically got canceled, and then I guess the main guy in there was kind of an asshole, the actual titular Baby Driver. So I don't know. I'm just like making stuff up, but or that's the general gist I was getting from things in the milieu of Reddit movie conversations.
Yeah, because Reddit is where you go for the most normal conversation you'll ever have.
It's where you go where people are presumably actually talking to each other. So that's...
We'll see. We'll see what the Running Man looks like.
I don't know. I mean, like I don't know. Oh yeah, he's doing the Running Man, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's very like flashy, kind of. I enjoy his directing. It's very like over the top, lots of like quick editing and interesting things. Like I really liked Scott Pilgrim versus the World. At least a lot of the aesthetics of that. I know that like that movie's been like knocked down a peg also since because it was like, oh, this is kind of a shitty like the Scott Pilgrim character is actually kind of an asshole. He's dating a girl who's like underage. They're still like using like there's certain slurs in that movie pop up. It's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that to be here. Which, again, whatever. I don't know, stuff in this movie that happens too. It's like
Yeah, it is a movie from a less sensitive era, as some
Yeah,
might say.
I don't know. It's also British, so it could be a cultural difference there. Um, maybe what's his name? Nick Frost is like the best like affable British person you could get to say the N word in like the least like nasty way possible.
Yeah, but you got to remember that was part of a
Yeah,
culture
yeah.
20 years ago too. It's like that was in like the hip hop music. Everyone was saying that it was a term of endearment among friends who like liked music that was like very weird. That it's like, oh, you guys like this
Well,
music
it's also
too?
an era, I believe. Well, I
Like
mean, it's
so
yeah.
deadly
Well, there's like
serious.
yeah, but there's also like this is the post 9/11 era. Like, there's a lot of like serious movies being made, and like there's like, there's there continues to be doom and gloom. It was just a different thing back then. It was like we're just unsure about what things are going to happen. Like, we know there's going to be a world tomorrow, but we're just unsure what it's going to be like, and then that just never stopped. Um, and so like, but there's still like kind of edgelord stuff happening around this time where it's like, why is everyone being so serious? And so we're gonna like take the edge off by making like something so ludicrous. By comparison, what's happening is tame. It's like, because that person said something absolutely horrible, so like by comparison. um But again, here it's like here it's tame and not directed in any kind of like malicious way. It's just language and somebody having like a minor joke in a time of crisis. um,
Yeah,
but most of the movie kind of has a weirdly. It is kind of. I mean, it's like it is weirdly upbeat because it is a horror movie. But they're like, you like the people
yeah.
and you want them to try to succeed. So. And for the most part, they don't. So it is interesting. So. What's other Edgar Wright stuff? I don't know. Do you have a favorite Edgar Wright movie or? Okay.
Probably this one.
I remember Hot Fuzz. Like, I really liked it, but that was like, I think they go too serious with it. Because like whenever you see clips from Hot Fuzz, like, this is a funny movie, but like watch it again. Like, those are all the funny scenes in the movie, the ones that got turned into memes. It's like kind of overly serious. So,
Yeah, it's overly serious and overly
yeah.
long. It's like, oh, surely it's going to end here. No, the joke continues.
And it's kind of like its violence isn't funny. It's like pretty brutal. But the similar thing happened
Yeah,
here too. Whereas like the violence in the beginning is just kind of like it's played for laughs. It's not that brutal, and then you just get straight into like, let's rip a guy alive into pieces like at the end of the movie. So,
yeah.
um, and then man, I gotta watch World's End again sometime because like that's I barely remember that whatsoever. It's kind of because it's similar kind of things about like all the movies are about like growing up essentially.
Yeah.
But like in Hot Fuzz, it's more about like Nick Frost's character kind of growing up because like Simon Pegg's character is just a hard ass who's like went too hard that he got kicked out of London to go to a small town because they didn't like him there because he played by the rules too much. um, and then World's End is kind of like, was it like college drinking buddies? Just like, let's do this one last time before we like go have families and stuff like that. Isn't that the plot of that movie?
Yeah, it's something
Because they're
like
going
that.
on. Because I think like the World's End is like a pub crawl, and so like they have to go from different
Yeah.
pubs and like in the because it's about like an alien invasion, right? It's like the body snatcher stuff.
It's something like that. I remember I watched
Yeah,
it once and it seemed to be one of the, again, it was another thing that was like almost
yeah.
over long. And then I think it ends like it's like humanity's back in the dark ages or something.
Well, there's that, and then oh man, what was the other one? It had like, oh, it was the Seth Rogen one. Do you remember that one? The Seth Rogen End of the World movie?
Oh yeah, is that where it's like actual
Yeah,
hell
yeah.
comes to Earth, and everyone's like, "Oh, the demons are like all having weird sex, and it's just like horrible
This
things
is
are
the end.
happening."
That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah. I think they came out around the same time. So let
yeah.
me see, because this is the end is 2013. Now let's look at the world's end. What did I say? Yep, they both came out 2013.
Uh, okay, so that probably confused
Yeah, because I think
everyone.
I've seen This Is the End like a couple times because that's a absolutely bonkers movie. So even though The World's End is a better film, it's not. It doesn't have the higher moments that This Is the End has. So, because yeah, don't they like sing a Backstreet Boys song and get pulled to heaven or something like that?
Yeah, I know there's this. I know a lot of weird
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
happens. I know it's like when the Eastbound and Down guy was just coming off
yeah,
of
yeah.
that, and so it's like, oh, okay, well, can't wait to see what this guy's gonna
Yeah, and
say
it's
and do.
celebrities playing
Yeah,
themselves, and like that Michael Cera be a creep, which was pretty funny. And then yeah, and then like Danny McBride, like I forget, like they kick him out of the house, and then he becomes like a road warrior out when it like when hell rises, and then he has like Channing Tatum as like a gimp. So-
yeah, all good stuff.
um, uh, cinematographer is David M. Dunlop, who like he's kind of his he's mostly like a camera and electrical department guy. That's where his biggest
Yeah,
stuff is at. He did a lot he did a lot of cinematography for television, but this is kind of his biggest movie. So it's interesting because it doesn't feel like, I mean, I feel like he did a good job here, but I don't know. It must have not, it didn't seem like it sprung his career or anything like that, but I don't know. But he did good work here. And he worked on House of Cards,
yeah,
and so like, that's a good looking television show. Um, he did some like second unit photography on like Air Force One and the Interpreter. So,
oh, interesting. Okay,
and then yeah, he's a big, and then most of his big credits are like camera and electrical departments on bigger stuff. Like he did camera electrical on Men in Black, and that Virus movie, which like has weird connections because we see it like all the time. Like
yeah.
it, like, and I forget why. Maybe because it has Donald Sutherland in it, and he's gonna pop up in a lot of movies, and Jamie Lee Curtis. I've never watched that movie, but I remember that being like infamous. I don't know if that's like an Alan Smithy movie or something like that. Or wait, no,
There's something about it because it's like for the cast that has, you're like, oh, this is
yeah.
gonna be good. And it's like their performances are great, but the movie sucks.
um, oh no, it wasn't. Maybe I'm thinking of it. I remember there's one movie that's almost exactly like this. That it's supposedly was like they fired the director, and then like Francis Ford Coppola came on to finish it, and then like it ends up being like an Alan Smithy movie.
Okay.
I think it's about like, oh man, I wonder if it'll even show up in Francis Ford Coppola's stuff. It's a sci-fi movie. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think it's called is it called
Yes, that's it.
Supernova?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. That's another movie with good performances but a very
yeah.
weird story. It's like, well, like in this movie you can tell it's like they just stopped making this halfway through. They filmed it all and then like waited 5 years and like, let's edit this together and see what we can do. Can we call people back for reshoots? Nope. All right, go. I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but it seemed like that.
Have you watched Megalopolis yet?
No, I
Yeah, I have
haven't.
not dared.
I'm waiting for it to show up somewhere
Yeah,
so I can watch it. Being it's wholly owned by him, I don't know if it's ever going to end up
I
on
don't
streaming.
think he has a problem with streaming, but I don't know.
But yeah, it's definitely worth watching.
Well, I remember like hearing people talk about like, oh man, like it was such a ridiculous movie that like we gotta start doing annual watch-alongs and see like how the movie ages. Like maybe we'll come around on it. So,
Oh yeah, it's like that Wim Wenders movie Until the End of the World. It's like you got to watch it every 10 years. So I remember I watched it when it came out, and I was like, "This sucks." And then I watched it 10 years later, and I'm like, sort of liking some of the stuff going on here. And then there's like a 4-hour version you can watch. It
huh?
has a great soundtrack, but it's one of those movies that's just like it's a lot of cool ideas and it's a great cast. But boy, does it tells stories like you're just eating mushrooms the whole time.
Yeah, I remember like I always said make the joke like I didn't like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas the first 7 times I watched it.
Yeah.
But also the story to that is like Stars used to have its own channel. This is like before. This is before you had on-demand streaming. And Stars just had a
Hmm.
channel that they would pick 4 movies for the week, and they would just cycle through those 4 movies on that channel all week. And so one week they had Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas on it, so I just saw bits and pieces of it for like a week. And then eventually I
Yeah.
just like bought it and watched it from beginning to end. Then I was like kind of getting to it, and I think eventually like I got around to it. I bought the Criterion collection of it, and it's like, all right, now all the pithy, and it wasn't just like I think the weirdness was throwing me off, and it was really like the pithy voiceover of like Hunter S. Thompson, kind of um, like poetic scenery about like the end of civilization that really got to me. So, what was like the end of civilization? It was like end of innocence kind of thing, where he describes it as like if you look west with the right pair of eyes, you can see the watermark where the wave broke and rolled back, and he's basically talking
Yeah.
about like the drug use of the '60s. So um, and then it was written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright, which Edgar Wright has second billing, and it's an and so I don't know if that's a British thing or a WGA thing, but usually that means they wrote it separately. So I'm not, it's like I'm pretty sure they worked together on this, but they must have just done separate passes on it. So, or
Yeah.
or
That
Edgar
could
Wright
be.
made like last minute changes on it or something like that, but enough to get like credit for it. I mean, it didn't seem like somebody was personal about it. These guys kept working together, so. um, of course, yeah, the cast is Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and Kate Ashfield, and then like just like all the British actors, which I think I'll have like 3 I'll remember. There's like Martin Short in like the most bit part in the world showing up, and he's like a leading man now. It's kind of funny. So,
Like
oh yeah, yeah,
Martin
yeah, Martin Freeman. Yeah,
Freeman.
not Martin Short. Yeah, Martin Freeman. So,
My favorite was
yeah,
Bill
yeah,
Nye. It's one of those British guys that's looked 70 for the
yeah,
last
yeah.
40 years. One of those guys, like a John Hurt character.
And the other guy I remember was it's like Peter Safranowicz. He was like their tall
Yeah.
roommate guy.
Yep. He's been in oh, he's been in a bunch of stuff.
I remember him as he was like they did a third try on the Tick for Amazon Video, and he was the Tick.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
is have you ever watched any of those, Nathan? Okay.
No, I haven't.
It's the most inexplicable series. I mean, there's maybe more, but this is one of the most inexplicable series to ever come to. Like I believe it was a comic book, and it was a great cartoon back, like subversive cartoon that was still meant for like Saturday morning kids show. It was very subversive,
Yeah.
and I think they only had 2 seasons of it, but they're great. Um, and then like 4 years later, they did a live action version on Fox with Patrick Warburton as the Tick, and
Okay. I think I remember hearing
and
about
that one
that
kind
one.
of looked cheap, but it was still like it still did the Tick thing. It does the kind of weird, like undercutting superhero stuff, and this is like just as the superhero stuff is about to blow up and take over everything. And so I think that one also only has 1 season and they canceled it. And then, like like 15 years later, Amazon picks it up and produces 2 seasons of it and then cancels. so, so there's something about it that makes people keep wanting to try to make it, and then there's something about it that like it'll never grow an audience. It'll just attract the same people every time. So
it seems almost like cursed in a way.
yeah, I mean, I think that was like the problem with like Mystery Science Theater 3000 is that it was hard to grow their audience, but it was also so cheaply produced and provided so much like uh, um, commercial time to a network that like, you know, for the most part it made financial sense until like I guess it just didn't. Now it was like then when the hours when the advertising couldn't pay for the production anymore, then that's when they had to cut it, I guess. So
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like you it has a loyal fan base, but
yeah,
a very small one, and they take it over like, oh, there's growing room here. We
yeah,
can spread this, and it's like, nah, it's got a pretty specific audience, and it's not. There's not going to be like, I don't know. Sometimes they see that stuff as like it's a sports franchise. Like we can bring more people in. It's like, nah, people that are into it, and the people that aren't are never going to be. So sometimes you will have things that become like phenomenons, but not everything does that. Or it's not a fan base with a lot of money. Or
yeah, because that's why there's so much Star Trek stuff out there because it's like
yeah, it's because the people that are inventing machines to destroy the world, yeah, they love Star Trek. They have hundreds of millions of dollars. It's like I want Star Trek. I'll pay for it myself.
Now I don't know about the X-Files because I only base this on because like when the X-Files like when Star Trek came out on DVD, it was fucking expensive. It was like $100 for a season, which like nothing was asking that. And the only other thing that was asking that money was X-Files. And I'm like, huh, does X-Files fans have a lot of money, or are they just like loyal and conspiratorial?
I'm not sure. You know what the biggest money fan base is, though?
Okay.
Lord of the Rings. Because they've stolen all the names. If you say it, because you'll run across things like you know, our current vice president. Guess who he worked for before he got into politics? Mithril Capital. Now, a lot of people think, oh, that's just a weird conglomeration of names. It's like, no, that's the sacred silver that the dwarves mined so deep into Moria they woke in a Balrog. It's like, yeah, I want to invest with the Balrog guys. But it just sounds like a cool name. Or Palantir. Everyone's talking about that now. And it's like, yeah, that's the orb that Saruman gazed into to spy on everyone. It's like, let's name our company that and see who pays attention. Or Jeff Bezos and like, hey, I want to spend $1 billion to do my own kind of Lord of the Rings stuff. It's like it loses money every season. Everyone hates it. Don't care. Keep filming. Keep rolling. Now that's like just raw money fan base there. It's like,
I mean, at least we got like 4 seasons out of him for The Expanse. So
yeah, I mean that I don't mind the was it Rings of Power, but it's like it's exactly what I was afraid of. This is going to be boring to a lot of people, or people that have actually sat down and read all that stuff like I did when I was a kid. It's like, oh, that's who this is. This is who that is. Oh, I see what they're doing there. They've deviated from the stories, but I know who these characters are and where this is kind of going because it was all late. So it's not like surprising them. Nothing's like, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. It's like, no, this is all pretty much laid out, which is strange because it's very vague. It's like, because everyone loves the Odyssey, but, you know, its companion, the Iliad, it's like a lot of people don't read that one. It's because it's not quite as interesting. It's basically a list of names and battles and who died in it. But the stories you could make out of that would be amazing. It's just the Odyssey was one story that came out of that. But the Iliad was kind of necessary to set the stage for all that. That's why a lot of people love The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, but don't read the other books. And then the people that do form global spanning computer empires with very intimidating sounding names. I think there's a Helm's Deep company too now. It's like, come on, guys. Stop. Make up your own names.
Do you know anything about that? Was it a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the Game of Thrones spinoff? Oh, okay, all right.
Mm-mm.
I didn't know if that was like an official thing or just something they're slapping a name on. Okay, they're
Don't
probably just
know.
slapping a name on it.
Somebody wanted $10 million. Like, sure, yeah, whatever, do
Hey,
it.
hey, George R. R. Martin, can you like write this paragraph and we'll give you $20 million? It's like sure.
Yes, another one of these hats.
um,
Now you said one paragraph, right? Well, that's about 10 years. So, be tuned. I'll be back.
um, so yeah, so let's get into it. Got what? No.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Shaun of the Dead, folks.
Yeah, we're in the lead up. We can get there when we get there. We haven't done a Greed Factor in a while, so just Greed Factor just bleeds in so when it doesn't get
Yeah.
used. So. um. Yes. So we got Act 1. Shaun is drinking and smoking in a pub, which I'm guessing this is just his normal behavior. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winchester.
All right, can we get this out of the way right now, or should we get this out of the way? Is the titular well, not for this. The bar's titular Winchester, is that an actual Winchester when they use it in the movie?
It's a Winchester Model 1866
Okay.
Yellow Boy, which is what it's called, basically because of all the brass
Okay, all right.
accoutrements.
I thought it'd be ironic if they just use a lever action rifle and it wasn't actually a Winchester. So.
No, it does resemble a lever action
Okay,
Winchester
all right.
rifle, according to sources I found. Caliber unknown, because those were in a lot of different calibers, depending on when they were made, what they were used for.
Yeah, because I think were they like was those 3070s is one of the rounds that's used, and I think there's like 357s that they use. Whatever a flat nose cartridge is.
Yeah, those are called carriage cartridges. Yeah, they had the 3220. They had some like 44 carriage rounds. What is it? The 4270 government was one. There was a couple different rounds for these. Yeah, these were basically made for. These were like essentially deer hunting.
But the ammo's held in a tube, and like all the rounds are held back to back, so you don't want sharp tips on them lest they detonate the round in front of them. So.
Yes. Yes, this was one of the first auto feed guns where you didn't have to like open a breech to reload it every time. That's how the rest was fun.
But yeah, this is like, this is the good thing about like low budget filmmaking is that you have limited locations, so you reuse them, and then you have the locations kind of like build character over time, which is like a lot of ways more interesting than like like a global thriller that like goes all over the world and every scene is a new scene. It's like sometimes it's like bland and uninteresting, even if it's like, well, that looks expensive, but like it doesn't mean anything to me. And then here you have like literal scenes where it's like the shot is just repeated over and over again, but like now there's new connotations every time you come back to the scene, which like creates a lot of well, here they had to do a lot of still like now you're dressing up the same scene, but now you have like 50 extras dressed up as zombies, so that's a lot of work in on itself. But all your shot direction, all that stuff, lighting, like that's already like determined, so you can just redo that again. So you just reuse your work and get it done. So, and like you said, like for a zombie movie, this might have like the best character development of like a zombie movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shaun and his girlfriend are trying to spend more time together, and the problem is like Ed, his roommate, which is played by Nick Frost, who he's just like, is that a gambling machine, or is it like something else?
I think it's some kind of weird bar gambling machines that they have. I don't know much about British pop culture. I know they do have like because I know every bar I've been in has some kind of gambling
Yeah, but
thing.
I know like all like here it's like different states can have different gambling rules, and like depending on what it is, you know like some people you got like pull tab things or scratchers, like you can like, and then some
Yes.
things are like, but like I know in like Japan you can't gamble, but like they have like those machines where it's like a bunch of quarters that, or no there they have the plinko machines. They also have the quarter thing too, but like where there's a bunch of quarters that are precariously placed, and if you like throw a quarter, then yeah, it's basically a pachinko machine. It'll fall, and then like there's if luck goes your way, like you can get like $20 in quarters. Um, but in Japan, it's like it's different. It's like you're kind of buying your play piece, and then at the end of it, you can like return play pieces for money essentially, and so it's not considered gambling because there's considered a skill is somewhat considered in the in the aspect of it, so or something like that. I'm not sure. It's all weird. The
Yeah.
the house has to get its money, and then the government has to like pretend to shut it down, and then somebody's got to get their with their what do they call it? Your beak wet.
Yeah, everyone has to put their beak in. It's like it's a bag of seed and a bunch of birds show up and everyone has to get a mouthful of seed. You can have it.
um,
Let's see, British pub games. Trying to find. Well, these are like traditional
oh
games,
yeah,
like Skittles.
they don't got that like that weird triangle thing with like the golf tees in it where you have to jump it.
No, what's? Yeah, it's not like specific games. It's like old games like Totem Pole and all that. Darts,
Yeah,
which is that's
yeah,
a
darts are
fun thing
featured
to
there.
throw those.
Yeah, its darts seems very
Yeah,
British.
yeah.
I don't know. I guess like the only footage I've seen is like of British people playing darts because they have like leagues there.
Oh, it
Yeah, yeah.
makes it on TV.
Well, I know there's that like one guy. I think
So,
he was not a guy. I think he was like 17 years old, but he looks like a 35-year-old alcoholic. And he was like, "Look at
yeah,
this wonderkin," and like now he's in like like the next level up to like the premier darts league. It's like fuck, they got leagues of darts in Britain. That's fucked up. So
he's moving up the
yep.
dart totem pole. Pretty soon he'll be at the top.
Um. Yeah, but still like one of those sports where you can be overweight and play. So there's
Yeah.
like, this kind of a um, an aspect to it that's like, oh man, that's approachable. I can do that.
Yeah. Bowling.
I don't know. I don't think. Oh man, I'd have to look at bowling. I think like it was like that, and golf seems like they've gotten way more athletic in like the last 20 years. So,
Yeah, everything where they can do specific strength training. Yeah, the people are not nearly.
because like I feel like in bowling it feels like I don't know. It feels like that has to fuck you up. But now you can strengthen and condition it against it to like to so that's why I feel like there's more
Oh yeah.
there's more people like in shape that play bowling than rather just like anybody popping off the street can come in and win. So
Well, and it's like like in football, you still have people that just look like big
yeah,
fat people on the line, but then you look at their stats and it's like, oh, they could run
yeah,
down
yeah,
a
yeah.
deer and kill it. Like that's not human. And of course, that's why those guys have 5-year careers too. Because someone who weighs 300 pounds should not be able to run like a
Yeah.
100-yard dash. Like it's
Well,
not
it's like
normal.
yeah, those guys in like sumo wrestles, they have to be careful about like when they stop doing athletics, because if like
Yeah,
because like they're trying to out eat the energy they expend so they can keep the muscle mass and the mass in general. And then if you keep that up,
yeah.
then like all your all your activity disappears. That's a quick way to a heart attack. So.
No, yeah, yeah. It all stops. Yeah,
And then there's also the other way. Like if that stops, and then also you stop, like, well, thank God I don't have to eat like a horse anymore. And then like you just like that can also go wrong too and have health problems by like losing weight too fast and stuff like that. So
Well, you've heard about like when terrible alcoholics roll into like a hardcore rehab, like that's run by
yeah,
doctors and stuff. It's like they continue to give them vodka for a while because if they just cut them off, they'll die. They'll just
yeah.
drop over dead. They just go to sleep and won't wake up. But those are people that are in like, you know, late stage alcoholism. You have to be like drunk every day to be. I remember one of the psychos that ran one of those divisions of the Waffen SS that like basically killed everyone they found in Eastern Europe. He was one of those guys where he had to drink like every 6 hours or he'd start shaking badly or something. And back in the like, oh yeah, those people were. That's why he was completely nuts. He was just hammered all the time. It's like, yeah, lock him in a church, set it on fire, shoot anyone that comes out. Yeah, I got to get drunk. That's those kind of drunks are really bad.
But yeah, the British seem like professional drunks. But
Yeah,
do they have a drinking age, or just like as long as somebody's under supervision, or is that something?
I'm sure they have an A. They have rules for everything there.
But
I don't know. I know they tightened up a lot of stuff in the last 10 years, but I don't know.
Because I feel like you can drink in high school there. Like, I don't think it's 18. I think it's probably like 16 is the drinking age, maybe. But that's me making a guess. So
it is illegal for anyone under 18 to sell alcohol.
Okay, that's a specific.
Okay, so sell or buy alcohol. You cannot be alcohol, but you can drink it as long as you buy it. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. It is illegal to. You can drink alcohol in a private home, but except under the age of 5. And in Scotland, you can drink at 16 at a meal with an adult with you. So yeah, it's pretty generalized. I mean, it's actually. I think the only reason we make a big deal out of here because you can start driving when you're 16 here, which to them is like that's
they're
nuts,
not going to be driving.
But here it's like. So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons we have high drinking ages is because people have to drive cars so early here. But because teenagers are dumb and they'll just like, yeah, I can get drunk. It's clearly,
yeah, and also depends on enforcement too. So like they can have these rules, but if nobody enforces it, then it doesn't really matter. So.
Well, I mean, take it from someone who raised a teenager in modern times. It's like, I don't care what you do at my house. My car keys stay here. Well, okay, let me put it. If you start cooking up heroin, out. But if you guys want to drink, I don't care. You're just not driving anywhere. And that's kind of like Michigan. That's like, yeah, whatever happens in your home is your business. Unless somebody like drinks a fifth of wild turkey and ends up in the hospital, then you're sued. But you know, you got to watch the kids. The kids like, hey, let's not try to see who can drink the whole bottle of whiskey in an hour. That's dumb. Don't do it.
And then I'm always weirded out by the people they have in Britain that like go around because like if you have an antenna, then it's like you're supposed to give us money to the BBC because you have an antenna, and then like people coming in your house and you have to try to like prove to them that you aren't using like over the air like TV and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got the weird Don't they do cable and satellite like we do now, or do they still have you have to buy a license to have an antenna or something for the stuff you get through the air? Okay. Whereas here you just get it through the air.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, nobody's licensing you, so. That stuff's crazy now. You can get because it's all digital now, so now they can cram like 1,000 channels where there used to be like 30. So.
Yeah, they're not doing that 50,000 watts anymore because that would be like jamming frequency.
Liz wants to do more of the things than just hanging out at the Winchester bar, which just seems like, this is like, I don't know, like, are they all just like, what do you call that? Like Arrested Development? Like, was this the thing they did in college and they just keep doing it and that's why she's like kind of angry? So.
every time I watch like especially British TV shows, it seems like everyone in their 20s and
Yeah.
30s is this. So it seems like either there's like not a lot of opportunities there, or people just don't want to grow up because it is fun to be drunk. It's like, work sucked. Time for a pint and or six. And it seems like some people like never get out of that. You can't get ahead. It's sort of the same thing here. You either get ahead or you get out of the game and you just give up. But there they have this like culture of like, oh, you go to a pub or whatever. Whereas here you just drink yourself to death at home. Uh, so yeah, it's a little, but I think that's just because that's interesting. Like it's all the Friends. Like remember the Friends TV show we had in the '90s here. It was like, yeah, people lived in New York City and they just hung around in huge apartments or a coffee shop and did or did not have jobs at various times and places. And it's like, well, we know that's not real. Fun story.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, what's your apartment rent on that? Even in the '90s, like $1,000 a month. Like they don't have places like that.
Waited till an old lady to die and they got a rent control apartment somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever brought up. But also, yeah, like when you have universal healthcare, that also changes things because I know there's a lot of like YouTubers and influencers that are from like the UK and Canada, because like there are ways you can just like get the government to pay you for your health insurance while you try to make it big on YouTube.
Oh yeah, no, that's why everyone here is miserable because your health insurance is tied to your job. Don't get me wrong, you can get some great health insurance, but it's tied to it. You can't like, oh, I am an influencer and I'm going to buy my own health insurance. It's like even being a farmer, like you're a self-employed farmer. Some farmers make a lot of money, some don't. But to insure yourself as just a farmer is like, oh, it's ungodly expensive. And yeah, you don't have any. Let's see, what's the conundrum there? You can be an entertainer in a country that provides all kinds of health care, but you're going to be living in an apartment with 10 friends because you're paying a 50% marginal tax rate. Or you can live in America and it's like, yeah, you can have the dream of being an entertainer, but you better have a real job too. So it's like dreams die in different ways in different places. They all die.
Then we get the credits where we have look kind of like they're setting up like the doldrums of like working at a convenience store and stuff like that. And we have people kind of acting weird and it's kind of casual zombie illusions. But the
foreshadowing in this movie is great because nobody's paying. It's just blowing by people. They're like the channel on the TV to where the sentences are streamed together. But everyone's so much in their own private misery that they like don't really notice what's going on, or notice nobody else does, and then they're like, "Huh, that's weird." Okay.
Well, yeah, that's the weird because they do have this thing where like, Shaun will like kind of like zone out, and it seems like he's like starting to notice the zombie like outbreak happening, but then he just gets shaken out of it. And like I don't know like what that means. Like is he just like he sees something and then just like, oh, never mind? Like is this ADHD or like what's going on here?
Well, he's kind of a guy who is he is like in a form of denial. He's in denial about his life. He's in denial about the reality of his friend. He's definitely like, I should be loyal to my friends. I should be good to the people that care about me and I care about them. But also it's like, well, yeah, I'm being used and it's kind of screwing up my life. And I really, I'm definitely like a more capable person than what my current level is. But this is why, he's like, huh, that's weird. I would rather do other things,
Yeah, because it's, it's weird, but it's like, he values his loyalty to his friend versus like, what, trying to climb a corporate ladder or whatever.
Something, yeah.
Anybody works in an electronics store, and I don't even know if that's like a good or a bad job. So,
yeah, it's an electronics store, but it's not one like we think of. It's like an electronics store, like like if it was an old fashioned corner
Yeah, but
store
that's how
somewhere.
shops are there because it's all condensed and everything's smaller. So you just everything's, there's a a corner every store. Like here's your corner electronics store, here's your corner grocery store, here's your corner lawn and care garden store or something.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
um, because I remember yeah, I remember growing up, like people making jokes, and I don't know what effort this was, but this had to have been some sort of like um con job or what do you call that, propaganda. But like
Yeah,
as kids, we're being told like you got to go to college or you can end up being a garbage man or a mailman, not knowing those are like
yeah.
great jobs with good benefits, and I could have been retired by now had I been a mailman when I went out and got out of high school.
You could end up being a welder
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
job site. It's like, oh no, it's like, oh, that guy works 4 out of 8 hours a day, and it's a good job, and he probably like he doesn't have to climb a ladder or
Yeah.
kiss anyone's ass. So yeah,
Yeah, there's a weird lot of like, yeah, it was just like lawyer, doctor, like engineer, like those were the only jobs in the world, and everything else was like lesser than, which is a weird thing for
yeah,
that to be in the American zeitgeist, where it's usually where we like to award, well, we like to propagandize about how hardworking we are. So,
yeah.
but we know that's a lie. We can work hard, but it's never actually going to benefit you unless you have some leverage for that hard work. So,
Yeah, it's kind of like a oh, I don't know how would you say it. It's like a it's like yeah, we're capable of great things. We just don't do those things. It's or it's like yeah, you should work really hard to make me
yeah,
richer. And everyone's kind of wise to that now. I think they see the
yeah.
reality of that game.
Um, Yeah, but here in this like really opening credit segment, like, cause like there's some people in the alley and they look like, I think they're just drug addicts. I don't think they're supposed to be zombies yet. I think they're just drug addicts. I'm not exactly sure. This might be British humor that's going over my head. This also might be 20-year-old British humor that's going over my head. So, um, let's see. Oh, I went over. Then we cut back to Ed's playing games in the morning. I think he's playing. I think this is Black, maybe a shooter for like the
Yeah,
PlayStation 2. It was lauded for its realistic
think
like modeling of guns and ammo. uh,
I vaguely remember that. Yeah,
and it didn't make a lot of sense because it's like a first person shooter, but they at least have the he gets on a second controller and it says like player 2 has entered the game, even though it's not a two-player game. But they at
yeah,
least make it seem like that's a thing. So because they do that a lot in movies where like another person comes up, grabs a controller, and they pretend like, how are you both playing this game? It's like it's not a game that's two players. So, and it's not a game you can just jump in
yeah.
and
It's
play.
playing half-life. If
Yeah.
somebody jumps in, it's like I'm with
um But I mean, half the time when they do stuff like that, they don't even know what footage of a game they're gonna throw on screen. So like nobody has any idea. It's like you're just two characters on a couch playing video games. That's all they know. So,
yeah,
um, Shaun starts to like to play the game, and then like Ed's like, "Don't you have work?" And then he just puts the controller down and it says, "Player 2 has exited the game," and he just steps over him and starts to get ready for work. Pete, their other flatmate, has problems with Ed because like the place is dirty. He's not answering the phones, and I guess
the front door
yeah, which I actually think that's
open all
Shaun
the
doing that,
time.
right? Shaun keeps leaving the front door open
I
because
think
he's
so.
like,
Yeah,
because I think Pete says like he keeps leaving the door open is like, and then Shaun looks kind of like guilty or what do you call that? Like, yeah, but he has like the guilty face. Yeah, yeah, sheepish.
sheepish.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he did it. So,
Sucks,
Um,
Ed.
and then also he doesn't have a job, but he's apparently selling weed. Which again, it's Britain, so I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. So
Still legal
okay.
there, as far as I know. We're actually way ahead of the rest of the world on that here. And Kieran in Canada, it's like, I mean, there's some states where it's still like, oh, that's felony, but in a lot of the big states, it's like, yeah, nobody cares.
Um,
I mean, I have my windows open. I can smell it now. He's smoking weed somewhere in my neighborhood. Not overwhelming, but it's like it's always there.
um, Pete asked Ed to like calmly to clean up the place and take phone messages. He just kind of like and then when Pete turns around, he has like some sign taped to his back that Ed put on there, and he starts laughing about it. The phone's ringing as Shaun's about to leave, and then he says, "Ed, can you answer that?" He's like, "Nope," and then like he doesn't answer it either, and it's a phone message from Liz about because he promised like they'll go to some fancy dinner place or whatever. I think this is the fancy dinner place with
Yeah.
the fishes or something like that, and it's like an Italian restaurant. So I don't know what that means, or I heard it all wrong.
I think that's what
Okay,
it said,
there's
yeah.
something like at the end I had to like turn the subtitles on for, and I was like, "What the fuck are they saying?" And then I can't even remember what they said, so it doesn't matter anyways. I'll pay. I heard something the other day, or I read something the other day. Apparently, like since they've switched to digital audio, that because they're all the audio is now crammed in the same signal. That's why people use subtitles now because they're on the same thing. It's like it's interfering with the dialogue, or it's like it's not creating the room for it or something. If it were analog, which I don't know if they described it correctly. It seems like all the smart sound engineers can probably engineer around that. So there's probably something else at issue. Like either they just don't give a shit, or
Yeah,
there's so much. Well, I know there's so much production dialogue gets covered up anyways in like bigger movies, where it's like, yeah, you're gonna have an explosion. We're not if we have the people talking louder than the explosion, it's not gonna make any fucking sense. So we just have noises and noises, and then we all pretend we heard what the dialogue was. um, but yeah, I don't know when that was a thing. It feels like that's a streaming thing. I feel like people really didn't use subtitles till it became an option on a streaming service. So, and then everyone just
yeah.
assumed they heard what they heard. So, which kind of makes it funner, you know. Create
Yeah.
confusion in the marketplace. No, he said this. Let's have an argument about it. So, that is right. Shaun leaves for work. He goes to like I don't know, we call it a bodega. What would they call it there? Yeah, you know the words there. You know, just like some sort of like small convenience store.
Yeah, it's like we'd call it a convenience store here, maybe a bodega, because it kind of had groceries, like small groceries too. Like you get cooking oil, flour, basics.
I mean, in the States we have stuff like this, but mostly this is what you see attached to every gas station. This would be a gas station in the States. So
yeah, you would the close cities. You'd see this in New York.
I mean, yeah, that's where I know.
Because we have a few of those, because you can't have pumps near lakes around here. So we do have these where you pull in, but now they have like a pizza place attached to them also, because they don't sell gas and they can't have the car washes near the lakes. So they just it's like a big convenience store with no pumps, and they have like a gas station, but they literally sell like hard liquor, booze, huge tall cans of beer for the road, you know, crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, there's been a weird like small takeover of like gas stations and stuff becoming basically small convenience stores and like bakeries and like and restaurants.
Yeah. They have like a fish fry guy. We have a fried chicken guy. We have 20,000 local brands of pizza, because you know Detroit's like the pizza.
Yeah, I've heard of a new thing, and I guess it's a Detroit thing. Jet's Pizza. Do you have that there? Okay.
Yep.
I've never had it, and I've heard a lot about it in like the last 3 months.
Life is short. Eat better pizza. Jets. It is the 8 corner
Yeah,
pizza is very good.
that's exactly what I've heard about. So.
It's not cheap. It's good. The guys at our local Jets stoned out of their minds. Best just ordering it through the app, then pick it up. You go in like, hey man, hey, what's going on? Did you order a pizza? That's why I'm here. Ah, it's a good one. Yeah. Oh, what's your name? Hey, we got it right here. Hey, I threw some extra ranch in there. You like ranch, don't you? Yeah, I like ranch. Me and the guy just got done having some ranch. Cool, thanks, man. It's all right. You have a good one now. Thanks for the tip. Don't forget to leave a tip. Yeah, that's our. You try to call in, they're like, "Whoa, hey," but man, they're always on time. So yeah, that's fine. They always make this. The pizza's always really good, and if they mess something up, it's like, "Hey, come in. We'll give you what you want. Keep the other one. We won't even charge you. Just give your money back." Yeah, I can do that. Just give me about an hour. Okay, we cool? Yeah.
Well, we used to have a place here in town. I guess they're all gone now. It was called Happy Joe's, and they did like pizza and ice cream. That was like their thing. Like, and they did like weird specialty pizzas, and they did like the obvious ones. But anyways, they make the best taco pizza as far as I'm considered. So.
Yeah, taco pizza is an art. Not
and now they're all gone. So, so there is a gas station here called Casey's, which they do specialty pizzas. And so I tried their taco pizza, and definitely like not nearly as good, but it does the taco pizza thing. So, which usually for me it's just like, man, just don't put onions on it, and they don't put onions on it. So,
okay.
But weirdly, the thing that Casey's does the best, because it's just a gas station, but they have these now. They do a lot of pizza. Yeah. They make an awesome breakfast pizza. It's just stupid simple. I mean, it's basically just an egg casserole, like served on a pizza thing. So, and that's kind of what egg casserole is, anyways. But like, it's so simple that like it's fantastic. So, yeah, and then we have like the Quick Star, which I don't know if you have those there, but they've been like quietly expanding all over the place. Yeah, there's just like little mini fiefdoms all across America of like the gas station convenience store. There's like Buc-ee's is a famous one, and the Wawa's like in Philadelphia and stuff like that. And
what's the dominant player here? We got Love's,
Sheetz, yep,
Speedway. I'm trying to think of who the other BP.
And weirdly, like 7-Eleven's like the biggest one, but like they're never in the Midwest. It must be like a coast thing.
Our 7-Elevens are like bodegas here, no pumps, 0 pump 7-Elevens, but it's always the happiest Indian dudes. Hello, welcome. They got everything. They got it all. You go to Budweiser, $5. Tall boys, tall, big beer for you. Big boy. And it's like, what? No, I'm driving. Yeah. That's
which the bodega in Shaun of the Dead is also owned by an Indian guy. So.
Oh yeah. It's all owned by
maybe most famously in it's The Simpsons. Apu.
Oh yeah.
Which did they write Apu out of The Simpsons? Did like he get canceled because he was voiced by a white guy or something like?
Yeah, it was a racist stereotype. Which he wasn't. It's like, no, that's how Indian people act. Indian people admired that.
He owns a business in America. Yeah.
And he makes his children compete for his love. Success is they exchange with their father for love. And it's like, yeah, we understand this. But yeah, that's trust me, most of the stereotypes about Indians and Asians, no one would be upset about those stereotypes. It's like, oh, they're good at math and they're all doctors. It's like, don't say this. This is terrible. It's like, no, everyone loves those stereotypes. They're not like, no one's angry about that. It's like, hey, you're an Asian. You can solve this math problem, right? It's like, oh, man,
man,
we had unhappy about that.
I had that at boot camp. There's a Korean guy. One of the guys was just like, we're doing something that required like more effort than usual. And he asked the Korean guy, "Hey, do you know how to do math?" And he goes, "Fuck you, no."
Yeah.
It's like, that was hilarious. Like, I'm enlisted in the Marine Corps. Like, I don't know how to do math.
Why do you think I'm here? My favorite story was the guy. He was a Jewish guy who went to prison, and I guess in prison you can request like a kosher meal. Did I ever tell you this story? I heard this on a podcast.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can request a kosher meal, and it comes with a yarmulke you can wear. And all the Mexican guys wanted to wear that because they said if you wear that, you always win at dice. Because that's how the Jewish people get all their money. They're good at gambling because they wear those hats. They believed it. They were like serious. Can I wear that? Because I'll always win at dice with that. Because that's where you guys got all your money. And this guy was like, "Yeah, just don't stab me, dude. Cool, whatever." But because he was a Jewish guy, he learned like, oh, you can get special things even in like hardcore maximum security prisons. It's like, no, they have to accommodate your religious things, and that was one thing. And yeah, like all the Mexican guys would like hold it like, this is gonna help me win money, you know. The paranoid superstitions that people have, it was great.
So Shaun grabs a soda, and I think so. I think there's a decision if you watch it. I think here he just grabs a regular Coke, and then like the day after when he decides like he needs to get his life together, he grabs a Diet Coke, which I feel like is a common unstated decision of adulthood. Is when you stop drinking Coke and start drinking Diet Coke. So.
Yeah, you have to lay off the cigarettes. I'm not going to call them what they call them in the movie because I'm not British.
Yeah, another one of those things that, you know. Well, at that time, it was just a cultural thing. I'm not even sure if they still use that in the UK. Okay, all right.
No, they do. and in Australia, everywhere else.
I
had a boss from Australia that was saying that. About talking about, hey, we can't let the loading dock become a place with the accent. These guys they're sucking down fags on the dock, and it's like, I can't say that shit. What? It's like, you know that. Come on, you're not this stupid. Oh, yeah, but that's not what I meant. It's like, yeah, you go tell one of these guys they're sucking down a fag, you're gonna get punched. Don't use that word or the other one that you like to use that we can't talk about. But it sounds funny in an Australian accent.
I forget what he. This is where he starts zoning out as he looks at some headlines, which I don't think there's like 4 papers there, so I don't think I caught any headline. But it's supposed to be alluding to the zombie outbreak, I'm guessing.
Well, I wrote down, what do they mention on the radio and in the paper? Like the American Zero Phoenix probe is returning to Earth.
Okay,
that
so that's
GMOs are causing, and then it cuts off. It doesn't say. And so there's all kinds of stuff like environmental tragedy has led to the, and then it cuts off. So you never find out like, why did this happen? Even
there's one little joke like on the last headline, which I believe is read by Edgar Light, saying that the common belief that the outbreak was caused by monkey rage virus is considered bullshit, and then it cuts off.
Yeah, because that's like 28 days later. It's like, but there's all kinds of stuff like that on, what do they call that? Like, it's either in a newspaper or it's like diegetically heard throughout the movie, but it always like cuts off. Like whenever they change the channel, the sentences all run together.
So we get Shaun's at a shop with like, this is some sort of electronic shop, which they had like CRTs and like DVD players here. So it's all it's like, oh man, that's quaint.
Has the tiny phones.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're still like phones and answering machine, but everybody has a cell phone, but they're all flip phones. So
yeah, that's all like stuff like this. Like when that was cool before we went back to like, I'm carrying an iPad in my pocket. But it can also do everything an iPad can do, which like they have that back then.
So yeah, there's a bunch of people out of work. So this is another good like sort of like world building of like there's something going on, but just nobody's paying attention to it. So Shaun is trying to manage the team, and like nobody's taking him seriously, or at least one guy isn't. They're all chewing gum, which I'm guessing that would be a no if the regular manager was there, because they're obviously not listening to him. But then like there's the one guy who takes the phone call in the middle of the meeting, and then like Shaun waits for him to finish his phone call. He's like, "Can I go?" And he's like waiting for permission from his lesser to tell him if he can do his job. So,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. Shaun has a confidence
Yeah.
issue, obviously. People walk on you like that. It's like,
And it's a good character building as he goes to lead people in the rest of the movie.
yeah.
But like not necessarily like fully successful at it, but he's also like doing something. So
He's also dealing with a situation where there's no
yeah.
playbook.
And there's I forget the character here, but I think he's just like, what are you like? The one guy keeps calling him old, and he's like I'm 29. What are you like 24? And he's like I'm 17. It's like because he's like bigger than him, so he just assumed he was like in his 20s. So, which I don't know. It's like British people.
Yeah.
They could be 17 or 44. You'll never know.
Yeah.
Everybody looks old and young at the same time. So, but the brat here has interesting character development, because at the end of the movie they have him pushing carts because they find out ways to use zombies as manual labor that they don't have to pay. So.
Yeah, just undercut the labor market yet again. Thatcher economics are back with zombies.
Then we get Phil, played by Bill Nye, who I always think of Bill Nye the Science Guy when I hear his name. So. Although I feel like every time people say his name, that's never confused. But I know I always make that adjustment in my head. But I always like the Science Guy. This is Shaun's stepdad, and so he's here to remind him of like, is it like Mother's Day or her birthday, or what occasion is he supposed to get flowers for?
I think he's just coming over for dinner.
Right. I wasn't sure about that. So Shaun goes to buy some flowers for his mom and make sure it gets like made out. Was it said like to the greatest mom in the world or something like that?
Something.
We get more glimpses of weirdness going on. Well, we also have like the thing, because this feels like this is like another one of these self-aware movies. Like this movie knows it's a zombie movie, which might be one of the first ones. Because we also talked about like how in almost all zombie movies that in the world they exist in, like zombie fiction has never existed before. Where clearly in this one it has, but they also do the thing of whenever somebody says zombie, it's like, be quiet, like shh, like that you're gonna jinx us.
We don't say the Z word.
But we had like so this movie like presumes like you've seen the trailer, so it's a zombie movie. So you have like when Shaun's waking up in the morning, he's like walking in a zombie like fashion and like yawning in a way that seems like he's like brainless and stuff like that. So there's a lot of little bits like that in this movie. We get more glimpses of the weirdness going on. I think this is where he's like helping some customers, and this is where he's like flipping through the channels, and there starts to be like news reports on more stations. And this is where he starts to like zone off, and like it seems like he's honing in on like, is there a zombie outbreak? But then like he just gets distracted, and there's like a phone call for him, and he's like I'm with customers, and that's Liz. And this is also where he tries to like he shrugs off Liz's phone call because he's trying to prove to the younger employee there that he's not like taking personal calls on business time. So he ignores his girlfriend to try to like show him up or whatever. So which this is what leads to him forgetting to make the reservation, which is also what leads to them breaking up. So, well, it's like the final straw. There's other it's never the thing you break up for is never the thing that caused the breakup. So Shaun screws up getting the reservation, and then Shaun grabs the flowers meant for his mom, and then tries to make up with Liz. Then him and Liz argue, and there's like some strife now with their roommates, which is what is it, Diane and David? Which they're
Yeah.
like, which here we get like some stuff where it's like, we get some like cruel like hearing your parents argue about you through the through the walls kind of thing going here, where like they're talking about how like Diane's like failed acting career, so and uh, and then like we get kind of like there's like and then they walk out there and there's kind of mentions about like how David's in love with Liz and like David's like, what are you talking about? So we know that to immediately be like, oh, that's what's going on here. So um yeah, I think like the lady who played Diane, she's like in the Wonder Woman like first movie, she's like her like helper or whatever. Yeah, she's
Lucy
in a lot of
Davis.
stuff. um that might
Yeah. She looked
that might be her
familiar.
most famous role. So, but yeah, she's probably in like 400 episodes of Doctor Who, just like everybody else was in this movie probably was. Um,
Yeah, because David and Diane are like your girlfriend's worst friends. It's always like pointing out things about you and your relationship, and nobody
yeah,
likes those people because you are also unhappy, miserable people. But they, instead of like being quiet or stoic about it, they want to analyze everything you're saying and doing.
which is David Irish?
Yeah, he
Okay,
has an Irish
is
accent.
the
His name's
okay,
Dylan Moran. Yeah, he's from Navan County,
okay,
Meath, Ireland.
and then is Lucy British, or is she also supposed to be Irish? I didn't know about that. I think she's
No, he's the only guy who has like a
okay.
standout
Maybe I was
Irish
just like,
accent.
because they're associated. Maybe I was like cross pollinating accents there. Like I was pretty sure David was Irish, but I wasn't sure about. Um,
No, she's
okay.
from Birmingham.
Um. So yeah, and then Liz just basically breaks up with Shaun. It starts raining. So that being the end of Act One, we got Act Two. Shaun heads to the Winchester and drinks with Ed. Ed tries to cheer him up by basically talking about how like they're gonna like drink for like 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. Have you ever done anything like that? Like a 24 hours of drinking? Would you ever have
Hours.
time
No, I
available to be that irresponsible?
at this point I might die just age, but I've drank a lot in an evening where it used to be. Well, there's periods in my life where I have drank a lot. I started getting worried when I was drinking a lot, and I'd wake up the next day like, "Oh, I feel fine," and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be dead soon." Image is being stored somewhere, because I used to get like really bad hangovers when we would just
Yeah.
have benders, and then that stopped, and I was like, "Oh, what's
Yeah,
going
I
on?"
don't drink, so I just
Um,
always hear stories on podcasts of people talking about like how like, oh man, like I need to like cut back on my drinking. I can't do that like I used to anymore, and like, and it just like that all seems sort of like irresponsible to me. It's like, yeah, that's why I don't drink, because I need to be ready at all times for whatever, I guess, or what it's, and and like, yeah, people talking about like, hair of the dog and like shower beers and all these things to like, having the availability and free time to to responsibly somehow drink constantly throughout a day just seems like a whole to do and like a privilege to be able to do that. So,
yeah, those are stories that are either told by people who wish they could do that or by unemployed alcoholics. Because I would not have the stamina and ability. I've never done the hair of the dog thing, because whenever I drink enough to feel it the next day, I really feel it. And if you bring alcohol
yeah.
near me, I'll throw up. And I'm not a beer guy, I'm a liquor guy, which means I've learned to meter that out over years, because it's real easy to drink 20 beers over the course of 5 hours. I know that sounds like an insane amount of beers. 5 hours mingling with people, having a good time, that's easy to do. But the next day, you will feel that. Couple shots with friends, and it's like, okay, I'm done. I can handle that. But beer just goes down easy, and it's like there's no
Well,
resistance there. But yeah, to drink continuously for that long and then wake up and start drinking again, you're just setting up a pyramid of damage that you're going to have to crawl up eventually.
Well,
And you're not going to miss work.
well, also,
And
there's, you know, and
but
maybe this I just didn't have these experience because I dropped out of college, you know, my first semester, and then went back as an older person, and I had to work, I had to go to school and work at the same time, so I was just never going to have these experiences. And yeah, people talk about power hours, where like people would make special media to have a power hour where like you drink, what is it, like every 10 minutes you have a shot of a beer or something like
mhm.
that. And so like it's like over the course of an hour you essentially drink like 6 beers, but like it can get like, you know, like, you know, people have to drop out for various reasons because obviously that's not the only alcohol you're consuming that over that time probably. So
Yeah, a good rule of thumb is to drink hard liquor first and then go to beer because it has to do with how your I don't know, it has to do with how your stomach handles it and how your body. Because the rule is beer before liquor,
yeah.
never sicker. Liquor before beer, never fear. That is actually I found that to be true. So if you're gonna like do some like you can do like 3 Jaeger bombs and then start drinking beer, it's gonna be a fun night. But yeah, if you're like 15 beers in and it's like let's get the wild turkey out, you're gonna be puking out. It's almost
You know,
guaranteed.
I always hear like crazy different things about Jägermeister. Like, isn't it just kind of like sweet, and that's why the problem with it is that it's easy to drink, and that's why you can get into trouble?
Yeah, it's like a liqueur. It's like a
Okay.
blended liqueur. There's
And
a
then it
lot
also
in
seems
it.
like people that like
And
violently hate it, but I don't know if that's like because they got sick on it and they just associate it. Okay,
that's
all
why.
right.
Oh, it's all that flavor crap. That's why I'm like a vodka
Yeah.
whiskey man, because it's like that's a basically a neutral spirit or
And
an
you know what you're
oak-aged
doing. It's
spirit.
not being
But
hidden by flavoring.
yeah, it's not like let's mix that with Red Bull and let's consume a bag of sugar with our. Oh, it's like it's adding
Yeah.
so many things.
Yeah, because I remember one
Um,
time
but
I went to a restaurant and they had some special like alcohol there, and I think they call it like the Blue Lantern, and it was like I think it was like
okay,
it was some sort of I don't know if it was vodka or whatever or something, but like I had that and it basically tasted like blue Powerade. And it's like, oh man, that's
yeah,
dangerous because this does not taste. It smells like alcohol, but it doesn't taste like alcohol.
give me 5 more. Let's go bite. And then when you're throwing up that stream of blue fire, it's like, what is this? It's from the devil. Yeah, that kind of drinking culture, like, I don't know. I mean, I've heard some St. Patrick's Day stories from my son. Like in college, it's a fraternity. I forget when the bar opened. I think it was 6 a.m. on St. Patrick's Day. And the goal is like, you've got to make it the whole day. It's dusk till it's yeah, dawn till dusk drinking. Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, I blacked out. I did all this. I did all that. But now he doesn't drink anymore. So he's like, I'll tell you what, I in the fraternity, it got ran
Yeah.
through my system. It's like after hangover number 15 in a row, he's like, this isn't fun anymore. this is this is not this isn't a great thing.
So yeah, Ed's trying to cheer him up, talking about getting epically drunk. We get a reveal of because it's the Winchester, and we get the bar's Winchester rifle that's mounted on the wall. We also get some like fake like backstory that Ed talks about the
Well, you think it's fake. You're not sure because one of the things ends
yeah
up being true later, but you're like, maybe
yeah
the other
yeah yeah
stuff
yeah.
was
So
true also. Because he was basically, Shaun was saying, look at these losers. We're just going to drink our lives away like these people. And Ed's like, no, they actually have powerful, dark lives. It's like, woman behind us here, I forget what he called her. It's like drunk Nancy or something, like a 60-year-old woman. It's like, she did the first, interracial porn. Like, no, come on. Yeah, it's true. And him, that guy, there was a British guy in cowboy boots with a weird, like
yeah.
white guy fro. It's like strangled his first wife to death. And the bartender, it's like
Yeah.
he's with the mob. See that gun above there? That's not deactivated. he has clout, you know, and Sean's like, come on, Ed, these people don't have interesting lives. So
Um, yeah, because I don't know like how if this is supposed to be a sad bar or just a bar or just like things happen. Because I also didn't know that with like Cheers. Because like was Cheers
yeah.
is that supposed to be like hey we just hang out here and have a good time, or was that supposed to be sad because everybody's drinking after work and avoiding their families?
Well, I think it was supposed to be fun because it was like a
Yeah.
fun crew. It was like the best face you could put on what essentially amounts to power drinking. Because, you know, I've worked all my life, 30 plus years at this point. I have never come home afterwards and like, I need liquor to get over my workday. But, you know, for some
Yeah.
people, that was normal. And I get, well, because I think those people all had like walking jobs in
Okay.
Boston. So it was all kind of because the
Yeah.
one guy
Yeah.
was a mailman, the other guy did some kind of insurance sales. Like they had normal jobs, but I'm gathering they lived there and they just like, oh, I'll just stop in
Yeah.
on my way home to the underground bar, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think that was the best face you could put on being in a bar all the time. Really, being in a bar all the
Yeah.
time is sad. For as much as I like to drink, I very seldom drink at bars because I don't like getting the shit beat out of me, and I don't like paying $200 for a night of drinking. So, you know what? I'm probably not going to get beat up at home, and I know it's not going to cost me $200 to drink. So,
Yeah, that's another thing in movies I never understood. Like when somebody says like put it on my tab. Like understand what a tab is, but like I wouldn't know how to utilize that. Like you can't just say that and then everybody knows like do you have to have like oh what's your serial number for your tab or something like that or does everybody just knows everybody?
well, that's a running tally. So essentially, like now you do that so you don't have to run your
Yeah,
card
yeah.
for every drink because hardly anyone has cash. So it's like, yeah, just keep a tabulation in the back, and that way she'll get a bigger tip too because it's like, oh, $54. Okay, I'm leaving a $20 tip, and versus like, oh, I'm giving you a buck for every drink you're bringing
Or
me or
somebody
something.
comes in and it says
So it
like
works.
buy a round for the bar, like that's always a movie thing. Is like, does that happen? Like, how does this transaction work? How do you,
If I've ever made that kind of money at one time, which I probably have at some point in my life, I would certainly not go to a bar and buy strangers drinks with it. I buy a very nice bottle of scotch and go home and enjoy it myself.
um, so we cut to it's like moments later. We see them. They leave and they're singing. Earlier when they walked in, there's like a couple kissing, and now we see this. This is turned into like they make it look like they're kissing, but then like the guy's head hangs over, you see blood, so it's just a lady eating this guy apparently. So,
Yeah.
um, and then they're like they're doing something like musical setup, and we see like a zombie in the background and like bathed in shadow, and he's kind of like finishing like the song setup, but like they're like but he's just moaning in a different way. So he's like you did it wrong, man. So um let me cut to back at the flat, and like Ed and Shaun are like playing music, and I'm not sure if like they're DJing or if he's just like kind of like moving the record back and forth to kind of do the little like the
Yeah, he's got like the ear
yeah.
cup on one ear, and then he's listening to the music in the rest of the room, just basically pantomiming being a
Yeah,
DJ, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Usually, I'd expect a DJ to have like the two turntables, but like sometimes DJ is just somebody who puts a record on a record player and that's it. So, um, Pete comes in angry because it's like 4 in the morning. And he throws his album away like out the window, and he's like, "No, that's my second record I ever bought." So, Nathan, do you remember the second record you bought, or have you ever bought a actual vinyl record?
Yeah, I have a bunch of
Okay.
Jethro Tull vinyl that I got. Some of it used, some of it new. I have some Pink Floyd. I used to have a record player. I used to think it's like, yeah, this is some pretentious nonsense. I need to buy a Macintosh and doing all that, but then I looked into what it costs, and it's like, nah, I don't fill the house
Yeah.
with music. So you get to a certain age, and it's like, yeah, I'm too old for this.
um, Pete says he has to go to work because like everyone in his apartment is out sick, so that's another like clue that something's going on here. and then he has a bandage from a bite, so you know that's gonna like it's foreshadowing. So, uh, and then Shaun is like, he's like passing out in the kitchen from being drunk, and I think he's listening to the message that Liz left, and so he writes something on the refrigerator and then passes out drunk in the kitchen, like in a chair. And then he wakes up the next day and he sees the thing he wrote on the thing. Was it like, get Liz back and get your life together or something like that?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Have you ever like, because is he supposed to be blackout drunk here, or have you ever left yourself, drunk messages to yourself because you knew you wouldn't remember?
No, not really. I usually make my list out the night before when I'm sober about what I have to
Okay.
do the next day. I'm not good. I'm not a good drunk writer. Because I'll tell you, when you get that drunk, it always looks fun in movies. It's like, oh, you're gonna pass out. No, when you're that drunk and you close your eyes, the room starts spinning. You actually can't sleep. There's a sleep it off point, but once you pass through that door, then you're in a. When I close my eyes, I can feel the earth spinning, and it's like I must vomit now. Stop this so I can sleep.
So yeah, Shaun wakes up. He like Ed's on the couch, so he mumbles to him because Ed's like slightly awake, and he's like, "Hey, you need anything?" He's like, "Grab me a cornetto." So first mention of a
Yes.
cornetto in the Cornetto trilogy. um, I think. So Shaun's heads out to that shop, that convenience shop. He grabs a cornetto for Ed, and then this is where we see him. He grabs like a diet coke instead of a coke. So he's growing as a person, as a human being. And we also see that. Oh yeah, so as he walked there, we kind of see there's like you see sirens. You see some kind of like the street is empty, and there's like a window that's broken and stuff like that. Um, and then but when he opens the refrigerator door, it's got bloody handprints on it, and then presumably he slips on some blood on the floor that he just didn't notice. And then the guy's not there. That's running the place isn't there, so he just like leaves some change on the counter and heads out. And then we start seeing like the camera kind of sees the other side of it, and we start seeing like dead bodies and zombies stumbling in the background, which also Shaun is oblivious to. So, um, then Shaun sits down to watch. He gets back to his flight. Shaun sits down to watch TV. He flips through the channels. This is what Nathan's talking about, where like there's news channels on some stuff, but then there's like you get like Animal Planet and stuff like that, and so it's basically it's creating sentences that's germane to what's actually happening, but it's just like happenstance that it works out that way. But it's fun editing stuff. So talking about like people,
Yeah.
and then like cutting to like Animal Planet and like animals eating alive and all that stuff like that. So um he sees reports of panic and danger in the world. Then we get this weird reveal of Ed as he's like covered by the curtains because he's looking out the door. And he kind of like reveals himself and is like, "There's a lady in the garden." So they go out to see what's going on. They think she's drunk, and then she tries to eat Shaun, but it's like all played off for a joke because like Ed grabs a camera, which is a good old like the wind up disposable camera. So there's no phone on the camera, so because he does have his phone throughout the movie. He's always like texting somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't know. They don't know she's trying to eat him. They think, she's going for a kiss or something like that, and then
She's like horny.
and then like he gets her off of her, and then she stands up, and then Shaun pushes her, and then she just like falls backwards and gets impaled on like an umbrella stand holder thing, and then
Yeah.
and then like Shaun's like horrified for a moment. It's like, I just killed this lady, and then she just gets back up, and they're like, oh, that's crazy, and then,
See like a hole
yeah,
in
yeah.
her midsection. At that point.
And it's like, and then they see another zombie who just kind of appears out of nowhere. It's like a much larger man who's like has like some like facial disfigurement and blood on him, and so they go back inside and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and then like, um, Shaun is calling the emergency number and it's busy, and he says, What's oh yeah, this is the I don't think I've heard this before. They use it multiple times here. It's like I can't contact them, Ed. They're engaged right now.
Yeah. Instead of like the lines busy,
Yeah.
like they're in off. Because he says that later when he's calling Liz. It's like she's engaged, and it's like that was quick. Oh, the line's busy. You know, they it's like
Yeah.
self-aware.
And then like yeah, while they're like watching TV and like he's trying to call people, like a zombie walks to their front door because Shaun left it open. Then they fight off the zombie by throwing a bunch of stuff at it, like just everything, like even like here's a pillow. It's like, well, that's not gonna do anything, which is comical. That like, why would you even attempt that? You know, it's not gonna work. So, but it's kind of a leading up to like what eventually happens. They kind of go through this progression of how to fight zombies. But then Ed eventually just smashes the guy's head in with an ashtray, which it looks like it wouldn't do too much damage, but then the way he talks about it is like that man's head caved in, which Ed seems affected by this at the moment, but then like the next kill he's completely like no problem with it. So they go outside with like kitchen utensils and like the what they have, like the toaster and stuff like that, and they're just throwing it at the zombies, and they're just missing everything and like hitting like their windows and stuff like that. And then they grab like, but then like Ed goes and picks up the record that Pete had thrown out earlier, and he throws it, and like a piece of it gets stuck in the zombie's head, and so then they think that's like, oh, that seems more effective than anything else we've done so far. And so they go grab his record collection to throw at the zombies, and then they have to like sit there and determine like which one is useless enough that they can dispose of it for zombie ammo. So, yeah, which is fun, but also just seems like beneath the characters. Like nobody's this stupid, but it's fun. So.
Well, they are pretty hungover.
Yeah,
maybe
I guess
still
so. Yeah,
drunk.
yeah, maybe decision making isn't. They haven't sobered up to decision making skills yet. So.
Well, and even here, like imagine like zombies suddenly happen, and like it's like even me and you, it's like yeah, we got like a house full of guns, but it's like should we start shooting these? It's the law. Like, when we go to prison, can we try to disable them first, and then after a while you're like, oh no, just fire at the heads.
Well, I think this is after they see a news report where like the news reporter says something like you can only stop them by like by destroying or decapitating the people or something like that. So that gives them permission to start killing people.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Then they eventually just go to the shed and they grab a cricket bat and a shovel, and then they just beat them to death. Well, I guess they're already dead. They beat them to an end. So, which we come back inside and they're sitting on the couch, and Shaun's like kind of sitting in shock that he's like killed something, and Ed's totally fine. He's just eating his ice cream, and they're covered in blood too. So, and this is where they hear about bites turning people. And they remember Pete, and they kind of call up to him, but there's no response. So it's like, well, he's dead. Because they said his keys are still on the wall, so they're pretty sure he didn't go to work. So he must be a zombie upstairs. There's a call from Shaun's mom. She says she's fine, but Philip has been bitten. So then Shaun starts going through.
She like characterizes as like some people tried to break into the house and they were bitey.
Yeah,
something weird like that.
Seems like a very British thing. So, also his mom is like brilliantly weird throughout this entire movie. So,
yeah, she's completely detached from reality in a fun way.
And also, like Ed has like a weird like connection with her, because like Ed doesn't listen to anybody. But if Barbara politely asks something, he's like, "Sure, Barbara." And then if anybody does anything to like hurt Barbara, he's like immediately there, like, who needs to die? So then we get like Shaun is like going through plans and like how to like they're going to go to his mom's house, kill Philip, and rescue the mom. So it's a very like fun, like they just like run through the scene, kind of like repetition, and then like have different endings and pathways and stuff like that. And then and then we'll have a beer and wait till this all blows up. It's very well done. So, but yeah, first the plans is like they're gonna go kill Philip, get his mom, go get Liz, and then go to the Winchester. Or at first they say their house, but then they're like, yeah, but the house is compromised, so we need to go somewhere else. And then it's about going to the Winchester. So that's their plan, is like gather everybody up and go to the Winchester. Um, And this is where you get mention of like not saying zombie, which he says like why like don't say the Z word, and he's like why? It's like because it's ridiculous. So this is where we get like the fourth wall breaking kind of stuff with this movie, which I feel like this is the first to do that. I'm not sure if it's not done.
Yeah.
I mean, you had like all the Walking Dead stuff with the comic books and the multiple television shows and all that stuff. So I feel like this fourth wall breaking zombie movie stuff is like really it's kind of like starts and ends here. Really, I'm not sure if there's other like well done zombies comedies. So, well, I guess yeah. What is it? Oh man, what's that one? There is like a zombie love story movie. Is it called Zombie Love Story? Oh man.
Is that the one where the guy's a zombie and then he stops
because
being
of
a zombie?
out of love or something like that.
Yeah, or it's like everyone was temporarily a zombie and they come back to normal, and then everyone's got to deal with all the people they killed. Because
It ran for a little bit. I think I'll be able to find it. So I think.
Okay. Well, anyway, so they steal the guy, or they borrow Pete's car. For you car fans out there, it is a Renault Megane, which is a car. So it's a 1.2 liter tiny engine in it. Well, that was a tiny engine for that time. That was a 1996. Now we have cars with it. I think my car has an engine.
Warm bodies.
Warm bodies. Okay.
Well, I remember another attempt at it was called Life After Beth, which the trailer seems like it's a comedy, but you watch the movie and it's just more heartbreaking than funny. But it's full of a bunch of comedians. But... All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, it's just like this is funny it's a funny thing in the movie because they basically steal what we would call a cheap economy car there, and then of course it's like, well, Phillips got a Jaguar, so we we want that eventually. Yeah, he has a Jaguar Sovereign B12. Which was the Daimler 6x6 that Jaguar used to use in the 80s.
Well, also, I should mention that Shaun uses the bathroom before they head out, and we see Pete's silhouette in the shower, and so he's a zombie now.
Yeah.
This is Peter Safwinowitz. Safwinowitz? Yeah, something like that. He's just a big, tall British man with a deep voice, so he gets put in a lot of different roles like that when you just need a big, tall British man.
Yeah, in this scene, it's ridiculous how much taller he is than everyone else, especially the shower scene. It's like, he's like, what is he, twice as tall as Simon?
And he's like in decent shape too, because he's basically naked throughout this whole movie. He keeps showing up.
Yeah, you tell he like lifts weights and stuff.
He's got like definition, but he doesn't look like a muscly guy necessarily. Especially, well, if he has clothes on, but like when he has clothes off, it's like, oh yeah, he's got muscles.
Yeah, he's not drinking. He's not at the Winchester every night. But of course, Simon Pegg doesn't look like he's a guy drinking every night. Nick Frost does, but
they grab.
Frost isn't as what somebody explained. Like they used to. I know in this movie they made him. He was wearing like medium shirts and stuff. He was wearing clothes that didn't fit him at all.
He's like it's like he probably gained weight after college and kept drinking and stuff like that. And he has the sophomore T-shirt that says "Got Wood" on it and stuff like that. So, he has the one fart joke where he says, well, it's a recurring one, but the first time he does it, he just looks at Shaun and he goes, "I'm sorry, Shaun," and like it really seems like a genuine and honest way, like he's apologizing for the the things that he makes Shaun do and like maybe ruin his life, and then it's like, no, it's just a fart joke because he'll
Just a really raunchy fart. Yeah. They actually were
That makes
roommates in
sense.
real life for this.
Yeah, it seems
So,
like
yeah,
it seems like in Britain everybody lives with everybody, so uh,
yeah, I think 1,000 square foot home there costs like $1 million. It's kind of what's happening here now, but yeah.
they take off in Pete's car. Like, it gets surrounded by zombies, and they take off. They hit one guy, and they kind of like back up, and it's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And then it just starts like moaning like a zombie. He's like, "Oh, thank God." They take off.
Sorry. I guess that guy was actually had no legs. He
Oh,
was
okay.
paraplegic. That's how they filmed that weird, like, because he had the Family
Yeah,
Guy legs behind him when
yeah,
Peter
yeah.
falls down. And it's like, I guess in real life that guy was a paraplegic, so they could do because the
Yeah.
legs weren't real, really do like crazy stuff like that. Hey, are you okay? Oh, good.
They go to Shaun's mom's house. She's kind of oblivious to everything. It's fun, like whenever it says like, "Hey, Barbara," she's like, "Oh, hello." Like she's like, she forgets where she is and what's going on at all times. So, I mean, she gets more distracted later on, but that makes sense. So,
Oh, I did like the funny line. I know we went over this already, but when the guy from the wedding party attacks him in the house because the front door
yeah,
was left open. Remember that? I love that line uh, where Ed's like, "Oh, this one's got an arm off." You know, sometimes the way they say stuff, it's so fun.
yeah,
I forgot about that. Oh, this one's got an arm off. That's when they become more
yeah,
advanced killers. They're like, oh, you know what to do.
yeah. Philip is still alive, but he's like, they're calling a doctor because he's like running a fever or whatever. So, um,
Yeah.
Shaun is trying to debate with his mom about how much do you love Philip? Because he's just trying to like, we should probably kill him and leave. You know, it's the practical thing to do. Um, which is fun because, well, I guess not fun, but this is like character development because he'll have to go through the same idea when his mom starts to turn into a zombie. So, um, um, so yeah, they leave the house with Philip. Ed has crashed the car so that they have to take the Jaguar, presumably.
Yeah.
um,
Crash the car
yeah,
on
that's what I
purpose.
figured. So, um, Philip gets bit again. They get in the car and head off. Um, they go to Liz's. There's child locks are on the back seat. So then like Shaun just like hops out through like the moonroof or the sunroof. Yeah, because the sunroof opens right and the moonroof doesn't or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, we get kind of reprieve of something here. We get kind of like almost like Wes Anderson framing here, where like they frame him in the square of the window of the flat, like kind of like main doorway or whatever. Um, and like previously they did this scene, he was like going to like climb up to the window to talk to them because they weren't letting them in, and this time he like rings the doorbell, they don't let him in, and then he actually does climb up to the window, kind of making him seem more like, you know, more action oriented now. So he has changed a little bit. I think also he like beat some zombies down on the way to the door. So we're making him more of an action hero at this point because he climbs out through
Yeah.
the sunroof and then starts beating zombies along the way. So, um, he's using the cricket bat, so it's British tool. So because like it's a British movie. Like in an American movie, you just have them have a baseball bat. Maybe they put a nail through it. I'm not sure. So,
Wrapped in barbed wire. Yeah.
yeah, I never held a cricket bat, so I don't know how much of this is a chore this is to run around with that thing. So,
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I know they look like very effective weapons.
well, they seem heavy, but you do have to run with them in cricket. You have to like run back and forth and keep hold of the bat. Um. So yeah, Shaun rings the door, then he climbs up to the window. They let him in through the window. He tells them he has a plan, and he convinces to come with them. So that they run out there. They grab some implements, which I think she has like a croquet. No, not croquet. She's got like a field hockey thing. It's got like kind of like a just like a wood with a little J hook on the end of it. So I think it's field hockey or something like
Yeah.
that. And is this where? Or is that later on when David says he's a pacifist or something like that? And it's like, oh, come on, you asshole.
I think.
I can't remember if it comes up here or when they grab the gun.
Okay, I think it's in
right.
the bar. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they pull, Ed pulls up in the Jag, and then they all cramp into the car. So there's like, what is there? There's like 4 people in the back and 3 people up front, and there's only 5 seats in the car. Which, man, I don't know how they shot this. I mean, I guess maybe they had like a Jaguar that was like half a Jaguar, and you could shove cameras into places. But,
Probably.
I mean, they don't have the car for long, so it probably doesn't matter. Shaun is debating his plan with a group, and then Philip has a weird heart-to-heart with Shaun, like as Philip dies, which is kind of like, it's like, oh, I was hard on you because like I knew that there could be better things for you if you just stood up for yourself and stuff like that, and this actually gets to Shaun because when everyone refers to him as his dad, he always makes sure to say it's like, that's my stepdad. So, but yeah, he cries in this scene, and then yeah, Shaun yells at Ed to pull over, and he basically just like whips the car around to a stop, and then that's when he tells everyone that like Philip has passed, and then he comes back as a zombie, and then they have to like get out of the car, but then there's like they kind of mess around with. I can't remember, like Ed doesn't like go into action to like release, even though they know like the back doors, or I guess maybe Ed forgot that the back doors had the child locks on it, but then I think like, yeah, like Liz has to come up and open the back doors. Also, this is like, yeah, this is the moment where like Ed keeps putting on like the rock music in the car, which Philip keeps telling him to turn off, which he doesn't when Philip asks, but he does turn it off when Barbara asks. And at some point, he turns the music back on, and then we have this like funny moment as like they get out of the car, and then like Shaun is trying to explain to his mom like he's not Philip anymore. There's nothing about him that's left. And we see the zombie turn off the music, and it's like anyways, we gotta go. So, so yeah, now they head out on foot. They're like moving through the backyards to try to keep a low profile. And then we get they run into we see her before. It's a Yvonne, which I guess they're old like I guess they were in college together. But here we like run into, it's like they're doppelgangers of each other. So it's like Yvonne is like the Shaun of her group, and then and this is where we get Martin Freeman is just like the Liz equivalent of their group, and it's funny because I think he literally just has one line where he says cheers, and that's it. He's just a background character with one line, which is funny because like this guy's like, he's like a leading man nowadays, but it's British, so everybody goes anywhere. So this could have been a favor. I don't know what Martin Freeman was doing at this time that he was doing.
He was most famous for being the character that in the British office that
he's like really the main guy. What's the
who's the guy here that he was in A Quiet Place in the American
Jim. John Krasinski is the actor, but
yeah, so Martin Freeman's essentially the John Krasinski of the the original British Office. Yeah.
Which that would have been going on around this time, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember being that was like, that was big at the time, but like I don't think it was, or I guess there was BBC USA might have been playing it or something, but like I only saw that as like it was big on DVD. Like,
okay. Yeah, that's where I got it. Yeah.
Then they go hopping garden fences, which there's a fun thing. There's like, what, David, you haven't hopped a fence before? And we get this funny little moment where he goes to like hop a fence, and like it's just like nothing's holding it up, and it just falls over immediately as he touches it, and he just has an awkward falling moment. So,
yeah.
So they go hopping the garden fences. They got to hop like 20 of them, and then Shaun, and then like his mom gets distracted by like, oh, that's like the TJs or something like that or something like that. And then like she sees a zombie like in pajamas, and then like we hear her kind of like scream a bit, and then Shaun like runs and jumps off a trampoline and does like a backflip over into the next lawn, and then like his mom's just like on the ground and the zombie somewhere else, and then he ends up fighting the zombie, and then like they give him like a tetherball pole, and then like he tries to hit it with the tennis ball, and they're like no, stab him, and then he like impales the zombie like against a tree like through the stomach, so it's not dead yet, but it's it's incapacitated. So this is also where Barbara gets like bitten somehow, but it's like it makes no sense, but we know that that's what needs to happen. But
Yeah.
yeah, you hide that from the audience and you have it be whatever. But it just seems weird that like the zombie and Barbara are in completely different places, and then that's the conclusion somehow. So he's like, I love this moment. Like he says, I'm gonna go up and check to see if the coast is clear, which it's just a ladder on the back of like a children's like play set, but like how it's framed is like great because it just keeps it in the box, and then Shaun like crawls up out of frame to go look, and then just comes back down. He's like, it's not good. And then we have the camera rise up and we see that like the streets are full of zombies around the Winchester, so like this was not a good call. Well, I also have like kind of some doubts earlier before, because when they run into Yvonne, I forget where she says she's going. Like is she going to like a military base or something like that? I mean, it's where she ends up. I can't remember if she says where she's going. Um,
Yeah, I don't remember, but I know that like her and her friends were, which were just like a parallel group to this group, were
yeah,
going
yeah.
somewhere
And they're
else.
like, "Oh, you're
Yeah.
going to Winchester? Well, good luck." So, so like implying that this is a bad idea, and so where it's like, there's this is more evidence that to maybe Shaun's idea has been bad the whole time. So, um, then we have a quick, yeah, they end up saying, I forget what they end up saying, but they're like, this is where we get the idea that like they're going to act like zombies to get past the zombies, and so they have a quick acting class with Diane with the zombie that's impaled on the tree, and like, all right, this is your work. You need a copy here, and so you know, there's a fun little moment where Diane's like trying to get um David to act like a zombie, and he just like doesn't care, and it's like, act like you're dead and you're all above this, and he's like, he's like, perfect. um and then Barbara's distracted the whole time. She's like, all right, Barbara, let's see your zombie, and she's like, oh, hello. um and like, yeah, I'm not sure they've done this in other movies, but like I know they did this in The Walking Dead, but there they go much further. Like they're like douse themselves in blood and like bits of
Yeah, I remember it was really gory in The Walking Dead because they like just basically
yeah,
gut zombies, and then yeah, have to what do they call it? Yeah, they just cover themselves with zombie guts and just walk through the streets. But it's not funny; it's
yeah,
scary. The zombies in The Walking Dead just rip you to shreds. I mean, they're just walking through a crowd of them, and then that later on in the series
yeah,
becomes a thing, like a group of humans that survive just by acting like zombies. But the only way you can catch them is they start talking to each other, like, "Hey, look over there; those guys aren't acting like us."
But it's a fun
Yeah,
little
it's weird.
dissection here because it's like, yeah, like how does a zombie detect a human? Like, are they using senses? Is it they're just going for any meat they see? Because the zombies aren't eating each other, so presumably, and like they're still like reanimated, so maybe like olfactory senses might work. You never know. So, but you just don't know. Or their eyes change, so maybe they're all
Yeah,
in infrared. Maybe they're seeing body heat now. um, but it's zombie movies, so like there's really only so much far you can get into like how it works before it's just eventually the end of the world anyway. So, um, they get to the door and the zombies like notice them slightly, and then Ed like takes a call, and here we like completely just cut away like from the zombies. We don't point back them because we had the reveal when they show that like, oh, then now they all notice them, not just little bits of them. Um, Shaun gives Ed a talking to, basically like, it's like, this is completely unprofessional. Like, this is what he wanted to say to that kid who was like throwing him off, and like, by saying this to Ed, and like how like, at this moment in time, like, why would you do this? And just, everything he says is true, but it's also like not the right time. But it's also like, if I don't say this now, there's never going to be a time to say this. Because he doesn't want, he's loyal to Ed, and that's why he doesn't want to say these things to them. And that's why they also don't grow as people. It's like, well, he's my friend, and I don't want to hurt his feelings and tell him the truth. So. But now we're in a situation where it's like, we can't have feelings. We need to survive. So.
Yeah, he's clearly creating a situation that's really endangering us all.
And then David throws a trash can through the window, which they're like, no, they're just going to get in that way. And then Shaun reacts and like gets the zombies to chase him so they don't follow the group inside the Winchester. So that being in Act 2. But also this is like kind of like a lot of hero moments going into like Shaun's like favor here, and like, you don't know if, I mean, he's like, the ancillary benefit of this is like he's trying to win Liz back, but also he's just surviving. So it's not necessarily a reason why like Shaun would be good or bad at this. He's just trying to level up to the situation, I guess. So you have Act 3. The group is sitting inside. They're waiting to see if Shaun will come back. David is freaking out and also like wants to be in charge, and he's basically like downplaying everything. It's like, this is all a bad decision. Basically everything he says is like absolutely true, so it's kind of funny. But because it's David, it's like you don't want to believe him because he sucks.
Yeah, everyone's annoyed. It's like, yeah, you're right, stop.
And then Shaun shows up alive. What do they call it? Like hog pieces or something like that?
Oh yeah, what were they called?
Is this supposed to be like pork rinds or something like that?
Yes. I was trying to find this, and then I forgot about it. I got distracted by an MP5. Hog lumps. Okay. It's a fictitious brand name of what they call pork scratchings, what we would call pork rinds. The movie Shaun of the Dead. Hog lumps.
There was a weird contention at the office the other day of somebody had like, they got like a bunch of like pork rinds and they just left them on like the break room table, and it's like, hey, they're free. And like I had some because like it's basically just like protein and salt. So it's like I can have these. Yeah. And then there's a bunch of people that are like, oh, I could never eat those. And I'm like, it's just skin that's dumped in really hot oil. And I think they're just thinking it's just like nothing but pig assholes or something like that. I think that's what their hang up with it was. And then there's another guy's like, I could never eat that. It's like, because like those hooves on the ground. And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, do you not eat vegetables because they're in the ground? It's like, what do you eat? This is like all bad reasoning. So
I won't eat any food that's dirty. It's like, well, then you'll starve to death. Disgusting. But that's why you clean it. Not having a raw carrot in your mouth.
I think it was David said like what Shaun idea, we're just gonna sit in the dark and eat peanuts and hope everything goes well, and then we cut to them exactly doing that. So, then we see the streetlights have come back on. Then Shaun goes in the back to flip the breakers because they're also after he's like, yeah, I gave him the slip, and he's like telling that to Liz, like, try to like big up himself, but other people are like suspicious that that's true, and so when he's flipping the breakers, he flips one on and it's a light to like the back door, and we see it's just zombies are completely at the back door, and he just comically turns it back off and like pulls down the window shade, hoping I didn't see that.
It's not real if I.
Then they flip through the channels on TV and they're all on standby, so that doesn't seem good. Ed turns on the gambling machine and it makes a bunch of noise, and so then like they unplug it and they're like, Jesus Christ, Ed. um, then the outside the zombies start to surround the bar. We see that the bar owner is a zombie and he's like wandered in and is trying to attack them. They beat him with pool cues, like in tune with, because also the jukebox comes on and plays randomly, and it ends up with "Queens Don't Stop Me Now" playing, and they kind of like beat him
Yeah.
with the pool cues in like sequence with the song or something like that.
While they're running in a
Yes.
circle around him, it's a very
Yeah.
disconcerting scene, and it's like, is this supposed to be funny or
Because they're also
sad?
not hitting him that hard, but you know, we also have like real actors, like not stuntmen hitting a person. So I don't know. Maybe this guy is a stuntman. Maybe they can just hit him as hard as they want.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Diane throws one of the darts and like it like hits a wall. Then it hits John the zombie, and then it just hits Shaun like right in the side of the head, which then he puts a bandage on for the rest of the movie, which it kind of makes him look like he's being like the Karate Kid or something like that. Which, is it a red bandage or does he just like bleed through the bandage?
I think he
Okay,
bleeds through it.
because the entire bandage is red by the end of the movie, but also like when he takes the arrow or the dart out of his head, like it like spews like a line of blood out.
Yeah, those dart heads, those arrows are
Yeah.
like that long, the sharp part of it. So that would have been like
Yeah.
borderline brain damage if that's
But
real.
also, I mean, head wounds do bleed like crazy because that's your heart designed to
yeah.
get blood to your head. So that one.
Yeah, your whole body is working towards that goal. Get blood up there so the thinking doesn't stop.
Ed gets the Winchester rifle and throws it to Shaun, who just beats John into the jukebox and stopping the music. And then Shaun accidentally fires the rifle, and so now they know it works. And then this maybe gives some credence to Ed's guesswork about the hidden life of John, the bartender or bar owner. So
Now I hope like all the stories
yeah.
are true about the bar. It's like the bars are full of interesting people in the UK. It's a magical place.
Then the zombie starts coming through the. Well, they didn't really board up a window. They just kind of stacked chairs in front of it. So,
Yeah.
So they start coming through that window. Liz goes off with Barbara, and then it's revealed that she's been bitten, which is kind of like a casual reveal. And she has just like a deep gash in her arm. It's like, oh man. So,
yeah, it seems it's like as soon as they move the bandage, it's like blood is pouring out of it.
Shaun tries to do like some awesome stuff with a rifle and make like action movie quips, but then he just kind of wastes the ammo as he like misses everything. I think he eventually like kills one zombie. It's like, oh, you're doing a good job. Well, it says before this they have a debate about who should shoot the rifle because nobody has experience with it, and I think this is where David says I'm a pacifist, which everybody rolls their eyes at. So,
yeah, it's like, well, let's be a pain in the ass right now.
And then Shaun's just trying to like, well, we're all going to use the rifle. And it's like, we're just one rifle, man. Like, just, but yeah, he tries to use an action quip and then he pulls the trigger and nothing happens. And then everyone has like, you got to take the safety off. And then Ed just has the one possession that works. Is like, just cock it, man. So, which he does. And then it loads the next round. Everyone kind of like abandons the, like the front door to go help Barbara, and then David ends up with a rifle, and then Barbara dies, and then David goes to shoot her in the head, and there's like a standoff here where they have like broken like bottles to everybody's neck. And this is where like Shaun can't give up on his mom even though she's dead. So, and we get like this is where we had like the weird relationship issues like come to a head where it's like David only dated Diane to get close to Liz, and then like Diane has been okay with that. So, but apparently Liz didn't know anything about this, so that's like a shock to her. But she also like doesn't care that much about David. But And then Barbara comes back as a zombie, and then Shaun has to shoot her in the head, which they don't spare the violence here. They just put a big hole in her head. So
Yeah, which is kind of sad.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is mom. Character you like is kind of this daffy,
yeah.
innocent lady. We're just gonna drill a hole in her head with a cowboy gun. It's like, oh, sad.
And then yeah, then David makes some comments like, "I had to be done," and then Shaun just punches him. And then David grabs the gun and tries to shoot Shaun, but the gun is empty. And then David just decides he's gonna leave in embarrassment. It's like, I gotta get out of here. I tried to kill somebody and couldn't do it. So, um, and then like, was it Diane tries to talk him into apology, and so David goes to apologize to Shaun, and then he just gets grabbed by zombies and ripped apart, like the most violent death in the movie. Like this is straight out of one of the Dawn of the Dead movies, or one of the Dead movies. Maybe Dawn of the Dead, or maybe Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead had some really violent ones, where you
Yeah. Oh,
no, it's Day of the Dead that had it, because because that's where like the one like kind of evil army guy like gets like his guts ripped open, and he's like yelling at them to choke on it as they eat his intestines, and he's still alive. And then they had like the extra bit where he's like, as he's screaming at them, they rip his head off, and like as the vocal cords stretch, his yelling gets higher pitched until it's pulled off his body, and then there's no voice anymore. It's like, man, that's deliciously evil details there. So I've never seen anybody do that since either. That's one of the most fucked up deaths in horror movies. So. But he's also like also the villain of the movie, so it's like, I guess if somebody has to,
yeah, he's basically like a rapist and a murderer.
But yeah, this is where like they're trying to pull David back in, even though he's being ripped apart, and then like his arms get ripped off. They end up like his legs fall off, and they end up with his legs. And then Diane just like opens the front door and like tries to save what's left of David, I guess, and is like beating zombies with his leg. And like it's just presumed Diane dies here because we don't see her ever again. But we don't see her get like necessarily like surrounded and ripped apart. But that's presumably what happens. So.
Well, see, they're just a tragic couple that like settled for one another because they couldn't really have who they wanted. Because she obviously had a thing for Shaun, and he had a thing for Shaun's girlfriend, which they like admit.
Oh, I don't remember
like,
Diane having a thing for Shaun, but okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, because you can tell because she starts listening to him like.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
I'm like, yeah, shut up, David. It's
no one wants to listen to you.
And it's, yeah, you're just a wet blanket, and it's like, yeah, and even Liz is like, yeah, we all know you have a thing for me, Dave, because I guess she rebuffed him in college. So it was like, yeah, they all kind of know, but it's like, oh, I'm going to die for this guy now who I was his second choice. So, yeah, so they're just like sad people coming to a sad end.
Yeah, because you hate David, and then you come to appreciate Diane more as the movie goes on. So, because at first she's just annoying, but then you kind of like her, and then it's like, well, that's a. But you don't get to see her like ripped to pieces, so that's save you some of that.
Yeah. You don't get to see that, yeah.
Then they're like, yeah, Shaun's like using the rifle, and then Liz like has like a coat hanger, and she's like holding off like zombies from both sides. And then Ed gets bitten a bunch, like he gets like in the arm and the neck, so he's like, well, he's gone. And Liz and Shaun jump behind the bar, and then Ed eventually gets back there as well, but he's like hurt really bad. And then Shaun lights the bar on fire, just to keep him off. And then the shells on the bar like go off. He tries to grab it, but then they just start going off, which then they kill a zombie, which I'm pretty sure that wouldn't happen, but whatever. So,
it's fun.
Then they go down in the cellar underneath the bar, and then Shaun tries to open the street hatch, but he can't, and so they sit down and they kind of like have a breakdown from like everything's going wrong. Liz kind of comforts him for like he tried, so it's like, hey, at least you didn't do nothing. You tried something. Then we have kind of
pretty much stayed together until 10 minutes ago. it's like first it's his mom, and then everyone else starts dying in
Yeah.
rapid succession.
Um, and then we have like pretty dark moment here as they're trying to figure out how they're going to kill themselves. So,
That's always a sad discussion. I don't think I could do
yeah.
it. You know, like put a gun in my mouth and pull
Which
the
yeah,
trigger.
like I'm not sure when did The Mist come out, because this has it's very similar to The Mist but wildly different endings.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that. The Mist might be one of the most brutal endings in cinema history. Oh, this is 2007, so this is before The Mist came out. So,
Yeah, I think this was like 2012.
But Liz has the cigarettes. Oh yeah, cause yeah, I forget the moment. Like, cause yeah, when she's admonishing Shaun in the first act, she's talking about like he didn't quit smoking, he didn't quit drinking, and he didn't like keep going to the gym or whatever or something like that. And that's when he grabs his cigarettes and he like throws it at in a trash can in their apartment. And so she kept the cigarettes because she quit smoking some time ago, but she couldn't let cigarettes go away, so she'd grab them. So they're about to.
Probably $3 a pack over there.
So they're about to light some cigarettes, and then like when he lights the lighter, it illuminates the controls to the lift that goes up to the street.
Yeah.
And so like, oh, we can get out of here, and then Shaun goes to give Ed the rifle, and which Ed does one last fart joke when he's like, "I'm sorry, Shaun," and then he's like, "Oh man," and then he laughs one more time. He's also crying here, so this is like great performances by Simon Pegg here to like be in a comedy and also have like he's cried a lot in this movie for a comedic actor. So. um. So Liz and Shaun go up the lift and leave Ed behind because like the zombies are pounding at the door to the cellar. Like I don't know. I don't know if they would get in that way. I don't know. Maybe I guess. No. They'd have to learn how to operate. I don't think they'd break through that cellar door like they would just a normal door. Because you can't really put mass against it like you can a vertical door.
Yeah. Yeah, unless they're just laying down.
Which they generally don't do. But, and then like Liz and Shaun are about to like start fighting the zombies, and then the army just shows up and kills all the zombies around them, and then Yvonne is with the army, and then we're with like, well, I'm glad somebody's still alive. So like apparently, there's supposed to be a comparison here that we've added all this evidence together that Shaun made the wrong decision, and that Yvonne made the correct decision. But at the end of the day, Shaun got out with one extra person alive, so he made the more correct decision. So, because presumably all of Yvonne's group's dead, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have to assume because she showed up with the military and they knew to come to the Winchester because he said he was going there. Even though these guys weirdly just show up and just start firing, and the crowd with fully automatic somehow past Shaun and Liz. It's like, okay, cool. And they're using Heckler and Koch G36Cs, which means that if they keep firing like that, they're going to overheat and become very inaccurate very quickly. I would go semi-auto.
I mean, their shooting at targets are like 10 feet in front of them, so I don't know how much it opens up, but what. Then Liz and Shaun hold hands, and so we fade out, fade to black. Then we come back over the top. We have like these over the top shows like recounting the aftermath of the zombie outbreak. Like we basically turn it into like reality TV shows, and it's very sarcastic. Because they have like recreation shows, and it's called like.
Hold on, somebody just crashed into my house. Hold on. Hey! Well, folks, Shaun of the Dead was a great movie. Unfortunately, I have somebody wiped out the pole in front of my house, so I got to call
All right.
911 now. I will call you back and send you the
Okay.
file in a little bit. You can finish off if you want to. Sorry
All right.
about this. All right. Bye.